Some Switch games feel made for everyone, but others hit much harder when you're older. I'm Alice, and these picks bring darker stories, deeper RPGs, brutal action, and unforgettable worlds. A few might surprise you. Let's dive into the list. Game 1, Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, drops you into Night City with guns, choices, hacking, and a story that actually rewards curiosity. The city feels alive, messy, and surprisingly personal once you start chasing side quests. I love how easily one mission can turn into a completely different adventure. If you're enjoying this list, hit like, subscribe, and comment your favorite game so far. The mature themes fit the adult angle perfectly, and playing this huge RPG on Switch 2 still feels kind of unreal. It also gives you freedom to ignore the main story and chase weird side jobs, romances, upgrades, and hidden corners. That flexibility makes every playthrough feel personal. Game 2, Resident Evil Requiem, goes straight for tension with dark corridors, sudden danger, and a story built around survival. The pacing keeps you alert because quiet moments can become terrifying. It also looks remarkably polished on modern hardware, which makes the atmosphere hit harder. I think the psychological side gives it extra weight. If you want a serious horror game that feels current, this is an easy pick for adults who enjoy fear, mystery, and stressful exploration. For Game 3, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt delivers a world packed with monsters, politics, romance, and difficult choices. Geralt's adventures can feel epic, but the smaller side stories often become the moments you remember most. Combat is flexible enough to support different builds, while exploration constantly pulls you off the main path. I still think its storytelling holds up beautifully. For adults who want a long RPG with mature themes and real consequences, this one remains hard to beat. Game 4, Assassin's Creed Shadows mixes stealth, swordplay, and exploration across feudal Japan. Playing as Niobe feels quick and sneaky, while Yasuke brings heavier combat and brute force. That contrast keeps missions from becoming repetitive, especially when you can switch approaches depending on the target. The world also gives you plenty of reasons to wander between objectives. I really like the quieter stealth moments here. For adults wanting a modern open world with serious themes, this is a Switch 2 choice. When Game 5, Cyberpunk 2077 aside, feels too huge, Doom Eternal gives you the opposite experience, pure speed. Every arena becomes a violent puzzle, where movement, weapons, and timing matter. You are switching tools, chasing resources, and pushing forward instead of hiding away. The campaign stays aggressive without becoming mindless, which is why I enjoy it. Adults who want a fast FPS can jump in for short sessions or longer runs, and the combat still feels fantastic on Nintendo Switch. Game 6, Alien Isolation, takes a slower route and makes vulnerability the entire point. You explore abandoned spaces while listening for footsteps, hiding from danger, and desperately managing resources. The alien itself feels unpredictable, which creates tension without relying on non-stop jump scares. I love how patient this game can be when you let the atmosphere breathe. For adult players who prefer survival horror, stealth, and psychological pressure over constant shooting, this remains an effective horror experience for adults today. Looking at Game 7, BioShock the Collection stands out because its worlds are as memorable as its ideas. Rapture feels claustrophobic and strange, while Columbia offers a brighter setting hiding plenty of darkness underneath. Both games mix shooting, exploration, powers, and storytelling in ways that reward attention. The details make wandering feel worthwhile. I think the original BioShock has atmosphere. If you want mature themes, memorable characters, and story-driven gameplay in on the go, this collection deserves a serious look. Game 8, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, is the definition of freedom. You can chase the main story quest, join factions, explore ruins, craft gear, or completely forget the story exists. That flexibility is perfect for adults who may only have short gaming windows but still want a world to happily return to. Combat feels dated in places, yet the sense of adventure remains strong. Personally, I love how easily Skyrim turns a quick session into a 3-hour detour. With Game 9, Persona 5 Royal, the appeal comes from living 2 lives at once.
By day, you attend school, build relationships, and manage your time. At night, you enter stylish dungeons and fight through supernatural threats. The music, menus, characters, and visual design all have a bold identity. I especially enjoy how small choices slowly shape the bigger journey. For adults wanting a long, story-driven RPG with turn-based combat and unforgettable style, Persona 5 Royal is an excellent choice.
Game 10, NieR Automata, blends fast action with a story that keeps changing your perspective. The combat feels smooth and stylish, but the real hook is how the game plays with identity, memory, and what it means to be human. Multiple playthroughs reveal more context instead of simply repeating the same adventure. The soundtrack adds a huge emotional punch. I think this is one of those games that stays in your head afterward, especially if you enjoy strange stories with serious themes.
For Game 11, Bayonetta 3 turns combat into a flashy playground of dodges, combos, weapons, and demon summons. The action is fast enough to feel chaotic, yet there's plenty of depth when you start learning enemy patterns and advanced techniques. Its humor and style are deliberately over the top, which makes every encounter feel like a spectacle. I love how confident the game is about its identity. Adults looking for stylish action with attitude should absolutely keep this one nearby. Game 12, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, offers a more thoughtful kind of action-adventure. Exploration, scanning, shooting, and environmental puzzles work together as you uncover alien spaces and slowly understand what happened there. The perspective makes the world feel intimate, while the atmosphere keeps things mysterious. It is not as relentlessly intense as a horror game, but it still creates tension through isolation and discovery. I really enjoy games that trust players to look around, and this one rewards that curiosity. Game 13, Hogwarts Legacy, is all about settling into a magical world and deciding how you want to spend your time there. Combat mixes spells, dodges, counters, and combinations, while exploration brings puzzles, secrets, and plenty of side activities. The castle itself is probably my favorite part, because wandering around can be more relaxing than rushing the story. For adults who grew up with Harry Potter or simply like open-world RPGs, this offers a mix of adventure, customization, and discovery today. Game 14, Red Dead Redemption, slows everything down and lets the atmosphere do the heavy lifting. The Western setting feels dusty, lonely, and surprisingly emotional as John Marston travels through a changing frontier. Gunfights are straightforward, but the story, characters, and quiet rides create the real personality. I like how much space the game gives you to simply exist in its world. If you want a mature story with memorable characters and a focused open-world adventure, it remains a great pick. Game 15, Mortal Kombat 1, brings brutal fighting, flashy finishers, and a moving roster into one package. Matches are easy to understand at first, but mastering spacing, combos, assists, and character matchups takes real practice. The presentation is packed with cinematic moments, yet the competitive side gives it lasting value. I think it works well when you want something immediate after a long RPG. Adults looking for violent arcade action or competitive multiplayer can jump in without a learning curve. Game 16, Hades, proves that a game does not need an enormous map to feel endlessly replayable. Each escape attempt changes the combination of rooms, enemies, upgrades, and dialogue, so failure rarely feels wasted. The combat is quick, responsive, and satisfying, while the characters give every run more personality. I really like how the story keeps moving even when you lose. For adults with limited time who still want depth, replayability, and strong writing, Hades is almost impossible to ignore. Game 17, Dead Cells, focuses on speed, precision, and learning through repetition. You explore shifting levels, collect weapons, fight dangerous enemies, and slowly become better at reading every attack. Runs can be short, but the temptation to try one more attempt is powerful. The movement feels especially good when everything clicks and you start chaining decisions together. I love the clean combat loop. If you enjoy roguelikes, challenging platforming, and quick sessions that can become long sessions, this is a standout. Game 18, Hollow Knight: Silksong, delivers a haunting world filled with strange creatures, hidden paths, and demanding boss fights.
Hornet moves with a different rhythm from the original hero, making combat feel fast, precise, and wonderfully acrobatic. Environments are beautiful, and exploration reveals another secret. I think the atmosphere is incredible here. For adults who enjoy difficult action games, Metroidvanias, and deep exploration, Silksong is an easy recommendation. Game 19, Silent Hill 5, leans heavily into psychological horror, unsettling imagery, and a story built around dread. Its Japanese setting gives the series a fresh visual identity, while the fog, creatures, and sound design create a constant sense of discomfort. This is not really about feeling powerful. It is about surviving something you barely understand. I personally find that approach more memorable than simple jump scares. If you want mature horror with symbolism, tension, and disturbing atmosphere, this deserves attention. Game 20, Diablo 3 Eternal Collection, is perfect when you want action that gets straight to the point. You pick a class, start smashing demons, collect better gear, and gradually turn your character into a disaster. Looting is simple to understand, but addictive, especially when you start chasing specific builds. I like how easy it is to play casually or sink into longer sessions. Adults who enjoy action RPGs, grinding, and really satisfying progression can get hundreds of hours here. Game 21, Divinity Original Sin 2, rewards patience more than reflexes. Battles are turn-based, but the systems are flexible enough to let you combine surfaces, abilities, positioning, and environmental tricks in clever ways. The party members also have strong personalities, making the long journey feel like an actual adventure with companions. I love games that let me solve problems in unexpected ways, and this one constantly does that. For adults seeking a deep RPG with meaningful choices, it remains exceptional. Game 22, Disco Elysium, replaces traditional combat with conversations, investigation, and a richly detailed inner world. You play a detective whose personality, skills, and decisions shape how every situation unfolds. The writing can be funny, bleak, strange, and surprisingly touching within the same hour. It asks you to slow down and actually read, which makes it different from most games here. I think adults who love story, mystery, role-playing, and unusual characters will get a lot from this game today. Game 23, No Man's Sky, gives you a universe to explore at your own pace. You can scan strange planets, build bases, trade resources, upgrade your ship, or simply wander until something unexpected appears. Years of updates have transformed it into a much deeper experience than its original reputation suggests. I love the calm moments between discoveries, especially when you land somewhere that looks completely alien. For adults who want exploration without a strict schedule, this is a great escape. Game 24, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, mixes first-person exploration, puzzles, stealth, and cinematic adventure into a surprisingly physical experience. You travel through historical locations, solve mysteries, and use the whip in ways that make the world feel interactive rather than decorative. The story has that globe-trotting energy without forgetting the darker side of the character's adventures. I really enjoy the balance between action and investigation. For adults wanting a polished adventure game with strong atmosphere, this is worth playing. Game 25, Resident Evil Village, closes the list with a blend of horror, action, exploration, and weird gothic spectacle. The village itself feels dangerous from the moment you arrive, while different areas introduce completely different moods and threats. Gunplay gives you some confidence, but the game never lets you feel completely safe. I like how unpredictable the journey becomes without losing its momentum. For adults looking for a memorable survival horror experience, Village delivers a mix of tension and action.